Guys, it is time for another God Roll video because Solstice Event is out and it's bringing out 3 weapons that we can grind for. Because there are only 3 weapons, I am going to include the PvE God Rolls and PvP God Rolls in this video. Remember that just because I say this is a God Roll doesn't mean you have to go for it. However, my moderator Phil came in clutch and gave me the entire list of what perks are good for the weapons. For all the weapons, we're gonna go over the PvE God Roll and then the PvP God Roll. The first weapon is a strand grenade launcher called Festival Flight. The archetype is Area Denial Frame, which burst fire grenade launcher. Each projectile creates a lingering pool on impact that deals damage over time. The God Roll for this weapon is Slice in the 3rd column. Casting your class ability allows this weapon to sever targets on hit for a brief duration, up to a maximum number of 5 targets. And in the 4th column, it's Attrition Orbs. Dealing sustained damage creates an orb of power, which is insanely good because you can do a bunch of builds that has to do with orbs and you can just endlessly collect them. As always, I do have alternative perks in both columns if you're not happy with the first set that I just mentioned. So starting with the 3rd column, instead of using Slice, you can also use Demolitionist. Kills with this weapon generate grenade energy. Activating your grenade ability reloads this weapon from reserves. Really good if you're trying to tie it in a grenade build. Another perk is Blast Distributor. Dealing splash damage grants a bonus to grenade stat. More specifically, it grants a stack of Blast Distributor up to a max of 5 stacks, and each stack gives 10 grenade stat points, which in total would be 50 that all goes towards your grenade. And lastly, for the 3rd column, you could also go with Envious Arsenal. Dealing damage with both other weapons before readying this one refills it from reserves. However, it is only good if you enhance it because it gives plus 20 to the ammo generation stat, and tie that with the abundant ammo mod on your weapon, you'll be at 99 ammo generation. Now we're going to talk about the 4th column. I have 3 perks. One of them is One for All. Hitting 3 separate targets increases damage by 35% for 10 seconds for a moderate duration. Binary Orbit. Elemental Final Blows opposite this weapon increase damage by 25% for 8.5 seconds. Darkness Final Blows boost Arc, Solar, and Void weapons. Light Final Blows boost Stasis, Strand, and Kinetic weapons. Which in this case, you'll want Light Final Blows because your weapon is Strand. Elemental Honing. Dealing unique elemental damage grants this weapon a stacking damage bonus starting at 2.5% and going up to 35% and lasts for 20 seconds. This bonus is increased for kinetic weapons. Alright, so let's talk PvP. This specific grenade launcher is not great in PvP just because of the archetype. With the archetype, you'll want to have PvP enemies that are kind of standing still in it in order to do damage. However, if you prefer to use this in PvP, I do have a God Roll. So the perks that make this a God Roll is Blast Distributor. Dealing splash damage grants a bonus to grenade stat, and Elemental Honing. Dealing unique elemental damage grants this weapon a stacking damage bonus. This bonus is increased for kinetic weapons. But as always, I have alternatives, 1 in each column. Starting with the 3rd, we have Slice. Casting your class ability allows this weapon to sever targets on hit for a brief duration, up to a maximum number of 5 targets. And in the 4th column, Binary Orbit. Elemental Final Blows opposite this weapon increase damage for a short duration. Darkness Final Blows boost Arc, Solar, and Void weapons. Light Final Blows boost Stasis, Strand, and Kinetic weapons. Hi guys! I didn't mean to interrupt, but if you haven't checked out my newest merch yet, please go and do. I worked really hard for it and I hope it's something you might enjoy. If you do, it's down in the description. And with that, we're moving on to our next weapon, which is the Void Fortunate Star Bow. It has a precision frame archetype, which means compound bow, longer draw time optimized for damage. reload, use while drawn to cancel a shot. The God Roll perks for this weapon is Repulsor Brace, defeating a void debuff target grants an overshield, and Destabilizing Rounds, defeating a target creates a void burst, hitting other targets with this burst makes them volatile, and grants you volatile rounds for a short time. But if you are not a fan of those perks, in the third column you can also use Dragonfly, precision kills create an elemental damage explosion, Archer's Tempo, draw time decreases after every precision hit, or Impromptu Ammunition, final blows increase ammo meter progress from all sources for a short time. And in the fourth column, you can also use Explosive Head, arrows explode after a short delay, or Archer's Gambit, hipfire precision hits grant a massive draw speed bonus for a short time. Now we're gonna switch over to PvP. The God Roll is Archer's Tempo, draw time decreases after every precision hit, and Archer's Gambit, hipfire precision hits grant a massive draw speed bonus for a short time. For this weapon, I only have one alternative, and that is in the fourth column, Sword Logic. Final blows with this weapon grant bonus damage. The strength and duration of the bonus increases when more powerful targets are defeated. In PvP, it will be a 15% damage increase and up to 35% if you kill someone in their super. Moving on to our final weapon of Solstice, which is the Year-Tide Apex Solar SMG. The archetype is a lightweight frame, which means superb handling, move faster with this weapon equipped. The God Roll for this weapon is Attrition Orbs, dealing sustained damage creates an orb of power, and Chaos Reshaped. This weapon gains 20% bonus damage while in combat for an extended time. Remaining in combat for even longer rewards a larger 35% damage bonus and periodically heals the wielder. Now, if you're not happy with those, I have two alternatives in the third column. Heal Clip, reloading shortly after dealing a final blow grants cure to you and your nearby allies. And Demolitionist, kills with this weapon generates grenade energy, activating your grenade ability reloads this weapon from reserves. Switching over to the fourth column, I have Incandescent, defeating a target spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in larger radius. Binary Orbit, elemental final blows opposite this weapon increases damage for a short duration. Darkness final blows boost arc, solar, and void weapons. Light final blows boost stasis, strand, and kinetic weapons. And Burning Ambition, dealing sustained damage scorches the target. Dealing damage to a scorched target inflicts scorch. Alright, so let's talk about the PvP God Roll. For this one, I actually have quite some juicy perks. The God Roll would be Lone Wolf, slightly improves aim assist, aim down sight speed, and airborne effectiveness, increases these effects when there is no nearby allies. And we have Target Lock. Damage increases the longer the weapon remains on a target. As always, can't forget about the alternatives. In the third column, I have Transcendent Moment. Final blows grant bonus stat based on the weapon's damage type alignment. Light elements grant stability and handling. Dark elements grant range and aim assist. While Transcendent, this weapon gets both bonuses. And Heal Clip. Reloading shortly after dealing a final blow grants cure to you and your nearby allies. In the fourth column, I only have one alternative, which is the Binary Orbit perk. Elemental final blows opposite this weapon increases damage for a short duration. Darkness final blows boost arc, solar, and void weapons. Light final blows boost stasis, strand, and kinetic weapons. And that is it. Those are all the weapons and all their God Roll perks that we've gone over for the Solstice event in 2025. I hope this guide helps you figure out which god roll you want to grind for. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you haven't yet, please leave a like and subscribe. It truly means a lot. I'll be live streaming over on my Twitch to grind the Solstice event with anyone that wants to join along. Again, thank you for your continuous support. I'll either see you in the next video or in a live stream. Bye!